loaded automatic weapons with the safety off at my chest. It ended up becoming so bad that I became a government whistleblower. There was this investigation. They literally ended up investigating me. I was unsafe. Everything I do now is dedicated to raising my sons the best I can. Started my business so I could be at home with them. I need to be a part of my family's team. So I was actually fired from running the SEAL sniper course. And it's really one of the proudest moments of my life in retrospect. And basically what happened was I was running the course, and we were training at Camp Pendleton in California. Somebody in the command wanted me to move the training to a place called Kalinga. It's here in California. They had run sniper training there before. Guys were getting sick, and during their stalks they were crawling through these tall grass and stuff, and it's the same areas that cows would pasture. They ended up getting an illness called valley fever, and it's a respiratory problem that you have for the rest of your life. And so they stopped training there, and this was a couple years before I started running the course. So they wanted me to take it back there, and I had a medical study done on that area and to see if it was safe, and the study came back that it was safe if we implemented all of these crazy safety measures, like misting sprays and foot wash stations and respiratory masks, like stuff that was just never going to happen. So I basically refused the order, and that's when I got fired. After that, somebody else took over the course. He ran one course there, and two of my brothers got valley fever again. And again, a disease, an illness that's going to be with them for the rest of their life. Nobody ever came along to me and said, hey Chris, you were right. We should have listened to you. But the thing is, my sons know that I did the right thing. That is everything to me. It kills me that two of my brothers had to get sick, for them to see that lesson. Doing the right thing is something that being a warrior is. It's not giving in to what other people think. It's not giving in to the easy way. It's doing what is right no matter what the consequences are. And it happened again, actually, when I retired. I worked for Homeland Security for 5 years, and I was their head firearms instructor there. The safety of the people I was training was so poor that I had dudes pointing loaded automatic weapons with the safety off at my chest, and me standing there running the range with a whistle in my mouth going, should I blow the whistle or is that going to startle this person? And I ended up getting fired from that job too. And they gave me a manual, and they were like, hey, Chris, here's the grading criteria for these guys to pass and continue to have their weapons qualifications. And I'm testing them on this stuff, and they weren't getting it. Everybody was failing. Maybe one or two guys were passing, and the command started getting on me, hey, why are you failing all these guys? Nobody else failed them before. And I'm like, well, you've never had a Navy SEAL instructor before. You never had somebody that was actually holding them to the standards and doing the right thing. And it ended up becoming so bad that I became a government whistleblower. So there was this investigation that, in the end, you end up realizing, there's really not a government agency that's going to investigate itself and find itself guilty. So they literally ended up investigating me, and they determined somehow that I was unsafe. Even though I had 500 pages of evidence, even though I probably had, 5 or 6 other instructors around me who, before I became a whistleblower, they were all like, oh yeah, it's totally unsafe. Yeah, if you do something about it, we'll stand up with you. And in the end, I read their investigation reports, their interviews, and they all lied. They, stabbed me in the back. In high school, I was voted most likely to end up in prison or something like that. Or knowing that my sons saw me get fired, I don't care what the consequences are, because does it matter? Does it matter what the consequences are if it's the right thing?